What's up everybody, welcome back. Earlier this week I actually broke this lens. This is the lens that I use to film a lot of my videos with. So it just has a plastic mounting ring, which kind of explains why it broke. But today what I'm going to do is take this apart, replace this outer ring, and see what else is inside. Let's get started. To take this lens apart I'm going to need some small electronics, screwdrivers, so I'm here in Zach's office. I'm going to borrow one of his little toolkits that he uses for his phones. Should be everything I need to take this lens apart. That should do the trick. If you're going to be taking apart your own lens or any electronics that are similar and you need a toolkit, I'll link Zach's toolkits down in the video description below. You can check them out, they're on Amazon. On this lens there are 3 different tabs where it mounts in, and all 3 of those are broken. As you can see right here, this side, and then on this side as well. And there's only 4 screws that actually hold this in place, and then there's 2 screws on the side. One here, and one right there. I had to switch toolkits because the one that I had didn't have the right Phillips head screwdrivers. And the ones that we're going to need are the PH00 and the PH000. The PH00 is going to be used to take these outer screws out, and then the 000 is going to be used to take the 2 small screws out inside of here. When taking out screws this small, it's pretty important to find the right size screwdriver. Screws this small can be pretty easy to strip out if you're not careful. Once I've taken out the 4 screws that hold the plastic ring bayonet to the rest of the lens, I'll take out the 2 that hold the metal surface contacts in place. Once the 6 screws have been taken out, the ring bayonet comes right off. There aren't any connectors to worry about when taking it off, just be sure to be careful with the connectors underneath. There are quite a few ribbon cables there. Once the ring bayonet's off, you can see the internal components of the lens. There's 6 ribbon cables that connect to the printed circuit board. Since this is the first lens I've taken apart, I don't know exactly what all the different connectors do, but I imagine one of them is for the image stabilization, one's for the autofocus, and the others probably control some of the different gears inside the lens that help it focus, stabilize, or something else that's important to get super good Instagram pictures. So once I had the mounting ring off, I wanted to take a little bit closer look inside the lens, just out of curiosity. Lenses have a number of different pieces of glass that will help to focus the light and photo information into a camera. You can see the back element here, as well as how the different parts move when I adjust the focal length of the lens. Basically what's happening is when I adjust the focal length to 55mm, the rear element gets further away from the camera sensor, which in turn gives it a tighter field of view. When I have the lens zoomed out to 18mm, the rear element is much closer to the camera sensor, which is what gives the camera the wide angle view. There's also an aperture ring inside of the lens that controls how much light is allowed inside the camera. When the aperture ring is wide open, it's letting as much light in as possible. And when it's closed, very little light is getting in. So for darker scenes, you would want the aperture ring to be wide open or close to it, but during the middle of the day when it's super sunny, the aperture ring is open very little because there's already a ton of light available. It's pretty crazy to think about how all these different parts work together just to give a single image, or in my case a video. Putting everything back together is pretty easy. I just line up the printed circuit board with where it's supposed to sit, and I put the rubber grommet back into place on the little plastic post, and then very carefully connect the ribbon cables back to where they're supposed to go. Once the ribbon cables are back in place, I'll take the replacement ring bayonet and screw it into place with the 6 screws. I got the ring bayonet off of eBay. I couldn't find it on Amazon, but it was only about 10 bucks on eBay after shipping costs. So I'll link it in the video description down below just in case you want to do the same repair. Once everything's back in place, I'll do a quick check to just make sure it fits on the camera right and everything works properly. And it looks like it does. Alright, that is it. That is how you replace the lens bayonet mounting ring for a Canon 18 to 55mm lens. It's pretty simple. It took about 10 days for the ring to get to me. It came in from China, so it took a little bit longer. I tried to call a couple shops before I did this by myself, and ultimately it just ended up being a lot cheaper and easier to do this myself because, I mean, really all it was about 6 screws. So pretty simple repair. Definitely something that is doable by yourself. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you around.